Welcome to Court Explainer, Court Explainer, where we are dealing with corruption and related offenses. Everybody is talking about corruption. In government, in private sector, the term corruption. The effect of corruption to the economy. A road that was supposed to be built. People steal their money. CDF. Have you received a bursary? Is your member of parliament stealing all the money? The governors, are they stealing everything from us? The cabinet, the presidency, parastatals, all over, parliament, judiciary, everywhere we are hearing corruption. Kenyans in 2010 created what is called the EACC, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, which is a commission that has constitutional protection to deal with the offenses of corruption. Out of it, Parliament passed Chapter 65, that is Cap 65, that is Ethics and Anti-Corruption Act of Kenya in the year 2003. It has been amended all over until now. That act defines what are the offenses called corruption. I'll be slow because this is a technical type of presentation. Section, that is Part 5, provides for which are the offenses under Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. In Section 40, there is what the first offense is called secret inducements for advice. What does that mean? A person is guilty of the offense if that person receives or solicits or agrees or receive or solicit a benefit to which this section applies if the person intends the benefit to be a secret from the person being advised. That is, if a person gives an advice purely to get a benefit. These are public officers. You go there, they give you a certain advice, then you give them something small. That is an offense under the Public Officers Act. It talks about the one who asks and the one who gives. Number 2, deceiving the principal. Section 41. Are you an employee of the public service? You do accounting. You change the figures. You bring to your peers. You bring to your director. You bring to your head of department. He signs without reading. Have you done anything without the boss knowing? The boss signs. The boss approves without knowing what he has approved. That is deceiving of our principal. 42, conflict of interest. This is where a person is conflicted. For example, you are a public officer and there is a tender to be opened. Your wife has bidded. You sit there and you approve for your wife. There is a recruitment of police officers. You influence that your relative is given a job. That is conflict of interest. If you have a conflict of interest, you have got to abandon that. We shall be dealing with the conflict of interest law. 43, improper benefits to trustees for appointments. If you are a trustee and you know you are doing that thing for your own benefit, you commit an offense under Section 43. Bid rigging. Bid rigging, here it's very, very critical. Let me read for it. The section applies with respect to a benefit that is an inducement or reward for one refraining from submitting a tender, a proposal, a quotation, or a bid. Here we are saying a tender has been advertised. You are supposed to present your documents, but you refrain so that so and so becomes the only tenderer. You find out that only one tenderer is awarded the job. That is an offense. 2, withdrawing or changing a tender, proposal, quotation, or bid. If you withdraw, if you change the tender, you are going to go in. 3, submitting a tender, proposal, quotation, or bid with a specified price or with any specified inclusions or exclusions. If you are bidding, county assemblies, county governments, you solicit money from those who are bidding, or you give, that is an offense. 45, this is where it's very, very controversial. A person is guilty of an offense if the person fraudulently or otherwise unlawfully, 1, acquires public property or a public service or benefit. If you have taken a public property or you have gotten a public service. 2, if you mortgage or charge or dispose a public property. C, if you damage a public property. For example, a computer or an electronic machine so that it does not function, so that the documents are not failed. Lastly, if you fail to pay any taxes or any fees or levies or charges payable to a public body, that is corruption. Lastly, it says, part 2, an officer or person whose functions concern the administration, custody, management of receipt, fraudulently makes payments or excessive payment from public revenues for substandard or defective goods. If you pay for services, for example, the Kenya government, county government is not supposed to buy mitumba things, but the supplier brings substandard goods. You pay as if you are paying for a genuine thing. That is what is called an offense under Article 30, Section 35. If you pay for goods not supplied, people bring invoices, they have not supplied anything, and they are paid. Or you pay for services that were never rendered, then you have done this. Then, in this section, you have committed an offense. 46, abuse of office. People are hearing Governor Natembeya has been charged for abuse of office. Obado has been charged for abuse of office. All the top government officers, governors, PSS, cabinet ministers are being arrested, and the offense is abuse of office. What is abuse of office under Section 46? A person who uses his office to improperly confer a benefit on himself or anyone else is guilty of an offense. Any benefit you receive by virtue of your office, that is an abuse of your office. Are you a meter reader of Nairobi water reader? You receive 10 shillings, that is an abuse of your office. Are you a police officer? You receive something small to do what you're supposed to do, that is abuse of office. Are you a judicial officer? You receive something for what you are paid to do, that is an abuse of office. That is how an abuse of office is. You receive anything by virtue of the position that you are holding. Remember, we dealt with in the Otomo matter that the office, public office, has a code of conduct to be followed under Chapter 6 of the Constitution of Kenya, leadership and integrity. Then 47, have you dealt with suspect property? If you handle property that is stolen, for example, your brother is the governor, he steals money from the county, the property is registered in your name. The car is registered in your name. The money goes to your bank account. That is what is called dealing with suspect property, whether knowingly or not knowingly. So many of you have given bank accounts to your relatives and friends who work in public service, and it tells you, somebody is going to deposit money in your account, 5 million, you take 1 million, you bring me 4 million. You are handling a suspect property. 47A, we are dealing with the question of attempts and conspiracies. Any attempt to steal public money, any attempt, any conspiracy to deal with these properties, the penalty for this. What is the punishment? This is where I want everybody to listen. If you are arrested and convicted under a SECA, my friend, the punishments are provided in 48. People were asking, how can Waluke be told to pay 1.5 billion? How did the government arrive at Waititu to pay 53 million shillings? This is now the law. What is the penalty? A person convicted of an offense under this part shall be liable to 1, a fine not exceeding 1 million shillings, or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 years or both. The first penalty is a fine not exceeding 1 million shillings, or imprisoned for a term not exceeding 10 years or both. In addition, mark my words, 48(1)(b), in addition to 1 million, there is what we call a mandatory fine. Lazima upigwe hii once you have been convicted. It's mandatory. As a result of the conduct that constituted the offense, the person received a quantifiable benefit of any other person suffered a quantifiable loss. The mandatory fine shall be equal to 2 times the amount of the benefit or loss described. So, if you are charged that you stole 20 million, the first fine, you'll get 1 million. The mandatory fine, you'll be fined 40 million shillings. That is times 2 the amount you have been convicted. If you stole 500 million and you are convicted of having stolen 500 million, the first fine is 1 million. The second fine is 500 million times 2. You will have to pay times 2 what you stole. So the mandatory fine is always times 2. So now you know, if you steal any money, the amount you have stolen, you will be jailed and you will be fined times 2. Yet again, there is the fine of 1 million. Wakili Dan Stenomari bringing to you always, avoid stealing from the public. Avoid money stealing. That money belongs to Kenyans, or else you will be fined times 2 the amount you've stolen. Wakili Dan Stenomari, always keeping you with the latest laws in this country. Keep watching. The next episode, we are dealing with bribery, the act of bribery. What does the law talk about bribery? Thank you.